anyone else who kind of joins a little bit later, because I know we had a few more who registered, I'll just bring them on in as we go. So yeah,
Sure.
well, welcome everybody.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. I am Jane Flower. I'm the Vice President of Brand and Member Experience here at the AMA. So thank you for sharing a little bit of time with us. I wanted to have the opportunity to share some thoughts that we have been having at AMA about supporting Albertans and possible partnership opportunities with small businesses and certainly with local brewers. So I've prepared a deck. I am going to try and share my screen. So this will be the first test to see how this goes. And I'll just run through a little bit about who we are, where our heads are at, and where we think there might be some interesting opportunities to work together. I throw this out there for your consideration, and then would certainly welcome individual follow-up conversations if there's something there that is of particular interest to you. All right, so I share. Is that sharing? Nope.
Not yet.
Okay. Oh boy. This is where one starts to panic a little bit. So sorry, you said I just hit multiple participants or one participant at a time?
I think if you can, or just click on the share screen button and it should bring up some options there for you.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
There you go.
How's that? All right.
There we go. We got it.
Okay. Excellent. So we'll start with nobody panic about the cover slide. We were having a little bit of fun with the idea of the things that we could do together. I don't know if any of you are AMA members, but if you are probably very familiar with our advocacy platforms and our devotion and dedication to making Alberta a safer place. So I wanted to take a few moments to introduce ourselves. Again, I don't know, for those of you on the line, if you are members, please raise your hand so I can see. Yeah. Okay, awesome, both of you are, that's great. So by way of a short introduction, I thought I'd highlight some of the things that you may or may not know about us. We are closing in on our 100th birthday. So we've been an Alberta institution since 1926. And really, although we're best known for roadside, our roots have always been in the idea of taking care of one another and protecting one another. Right from the get-go, the whole thing originated with new drivers on the highway wanting to watch out for one another and setting up patrols so if folks were stranded, they could get help. Nearly 100 years later, we have over 980,000 members across the province, and we have offices in 8 cities. And we are 3rd or 4th year running now as one of the most trusted and respected brands in Alberta. And when you break down the demographics, we're in about 36%, 37% of Alberta households. So our penetration is pretty strong. And it's everything that we do, because we've got the roadside business, but we also have travel and insurance and various other things. But we build our lines of businesses around the things that matter most to Albertans. And this past year has really driven home the importance of protecting our communities and our small businesses and our entrepreneurs and the opportunities that we might have together to take care of one another. Because if you'll pardon the pun, when rubber meets road and we go back to the core why of this organization, that's what it's about. It is supporting and protecting Albertans, including local Alberta businesses. And then, you know, as regards the industry in which you work, particularly continuing to advocate for safe roads and responsible drinking. We have got, in addition to our lines of business, obviously, the core of AMA is actually a not-for-profit organization, the membership piece of it. We are heavily invested in community in a number of different ways because we really believe that we have a responsibility and an obligation to take care of the communities in which we live and work and the members that we support. As a result, we don't have a lot of money, but we have a lot of voice. We can mobilize people, we can affect change through communications. And so we use that as our tool to sort of mobilize communities and affect change. And the way that we do that is really to partner with Alberta-based organizations and Alberta-based businesses. And that's really expanded over the course of the last couple of years when I think we really realized that there's a lot of organizations and hence our conversation with ASBA when you sit down and you start talking to one another, we have a lot of the same goals. There's overlapping circles, and perhaps working together, we can lift more boats than if we do it independently. And you'll see, we've tackled a number of initiatives over, the course of time. We have an annual food drive that goes all year long in support of making sure that people have enough to eat. We're now exploring opportunities in terms of clothing and shelter as well. From an advocacy perspective, we're obviously invested in making sure that people consume responsibly whatever it is they're consuming, which maybe feels like a little bit of a shift from where we've been in the past. We haven't really sort of talked much about consumption. We've just sort of said, don't consume and drive. And that's a really important message, but people are going to consume. So we need to focus on that fact and recognize it, and then use our tools and our energy and our voice to just make sure that people do it responsibly. So this past summer, by way of a short story, around April, after we, I think, all sort of come out of this first wave of complete panic about what was going on, we really realized that our summer was going to be lost. And for us, we do a lot of boots in the ground in the community during the summertime period. So we sort of realized that we were going to miss this opportunity to reach out and connect with both members and non-members, to sort of reach out to folks where they lived. And so we decided that perhaps there was an opportunity for us to connect with people virtually. And in so doing, also make sure that we were supporting local. And, quite frankly, at the beginning of the process, top of mind was what was happening with the Alberta agricultural space, and the pain and suffering that some of our growers were going through. So we decided to launch a virtual community. We toyed around the edges of this before. We have one other one, but we thought, we're all at home. Well, many of us are lonely, not really going anywhere, sort of doubling down on what we can do within our own space. And so we created a virtual community called the AMA Backyard Barbecue. And we partnered with some large producer groups across the province. Basically what it is a Facebook community, and the entire intent of it was to create opportunities for people to engage and learn and inspire one another and connect with one another during this really difficult time. So we started with, your basics, chicken, pork, etc. And then as we sort of continued, and awareness grew about what this was, we had people contacting us and wanting to see how we might be able to participate. And so really, what is a barbecue without some sort of frosty libation? So getting involved with ASBA and exploring what kind of content opportunities might exist or partnership opportunities might exist became a really natural fit. So over the course of the summer, we put out a few pieces of content you may be familiar with, including a beer and cheese pairing where we worked with Alley Cat and we worked with Alberta Milk to run a little short video about how you pair beer and cheese. And we're sort of constantly looking for opportunities to create experiences for our members online to educate them, but also to be promoting Alberta-based product in a sort of different and innovative way that isn't the hard sell, but is actually educating people about all of the great stuff that's going on in our province and encouraging people to explore. When I think about brewers and I look at the map where all of the ASBA members are located around the province, and we've talked about this with Blair and the team, there's so many opportunities for us to talk about what's going on in your industry and all of the work that you're doing and the amazing product that you're putting out into the market. So you'll also see on the right-hand side, we have a magazine, as you would know if you're members. It gets released 4 times a year. And we've profiled some Alberta brewers in the spring issue here, again, to draw attention to all of the work that's going on in the space. And to encourage our members through the use of our voice to buy local and to participate with local producers. But we still think there's more we can do. We think there's a lot more we can do. I'm trying to figure out how to contextualize this. We've got so many content opportunities to build interesting ideas. We have actually a rewards program you may be familiar with. And then we have the advocacy platform. And when I look at the work that we're trying to accomplish and things that you may be trying to accomplish, I feel as though there's overlapping circles and that there's opportunities for us to do more to get the message out your message and our message. When we first sat down to talk about this, question was, well, and lots of people think this, so if you think this, that's okay, we're not offended. AMA is an old organization that probably has an older demographic as its core membership base. And I hope you would be pleased to know that there's partial truth in that, but interestingly, 26% of our membership, so 250,000 some odd people, are actually 18 to 44 years old. And because of the nature of the relationship that AMA members have with AMA, we often, know a fair bit about who these folks are, obviously where they live, the kinds of vehicles that they drive. We're pretty very concerned about what we do with data, but we do run analysis at the aggregate level to help us understand where there may be interesting opportunities to create relevance and really connect with different member groups. So we have a segmentation strategy in place. And one of the groups of members, this 26% is the group that we call Digital Hipsters. And when we run, using third-party data sets, when we run the metrics on these folks, we see some trends that I think may be interesting to you. As I said, they tend to be 18 to 44. So there's a lot of millennials in what we call Digital Hipsters. They're not all millennials, but there are some in there. They over-index on the average in terms of their household income at about $137,000 a year. They tend to be educated. They tend to be urban or suburban. But interestingly, perhaps for you, they are more likely than the average Albertan to drink microbrewery or craft beer, consuming an average of 4 to 6 per week. So there's a group of people here who are already interested in your industry and in the product that you offer. A few other things that are interesting and that I think you will appreciate, because I have been endlessly impressed by the incredibly creative packaging that our Alberta brewers use. This cohort really values the aesthetics of purchases, including buying products that they connect to, that matter to them. That's the one side of sort of their psyche. The other side is that because it is a very important generational piece of the equation, they also value brands and organizations that embrace something bigger, that are ethical in the way that they do business, that care about social issues and stand for something bigger than profits. So when, over the course of the summer, like I said, when we started looking around at where there may be opportunities, these sort of little pockets of opportunities to connect our members to products and services in Alberta-based businesses that they care about, it was just another layer that seemed interesting when it came to working with local brewers. So as I said, we do have a lot of information about these folks. And so one of the things that we're able to do is to sort of plot their location on a map. So you'll see here that where we've got dark areas, we've got a higher density of these particular members. The green stars are ASBA member breweries, so you should be on there. And obviously, when you look at Edmonton and Calgary, as well as the Edmonton Red Deer corridor, we've got some pretty solid population there of folks that will be interested in your product, and an interesting little patch there in Grand Prairie as well. So we kind of live and work and have members living and working in areas that appear to be important in terms of connection to the brewing industry. Another part of that backyard barbecue, which we have many tentacles involved in terms of things that we're working on, is the small business piece, and the idea of really supporting local. The reason that AMA is AMA as opposed to CAA, which is the larger club federation, is because we matter to one another. And so as an Alberta-based organization, we do strive to support Alberta business, not only through our own operations, but through the products and services that we offer as much as we possibly can. Because we believe that by doing that, we increase the relevance of ourselves as well as the profile of our small businesses. So I'm going to talk a little bit about sort of some of the opportunities that we are exploring. There are more, but just a few things that may be of interest to you. And again, what's in here is high level. It's really more a matter of wanting to share this out and see if there is any interest in continuing the conversation along any one of these streams. So I'm going to start with our rewards program. Again, I'm not sure if you are aware of it, being as you are AMA members. It is the rewards loyalty part of membership. So everybody who's in membership has automatic access to the rewards. And really what it's intended to do is to add sort of everyday value to the membership. One of the practical realities and challenges of our business, which we are trying to gap we're trying to fill, is that if you're traveling with us, if you're buying or renewing your auto insurance, if you're registering your vehicle, if you get a flat tire or a dead battery, chances are for most of us, that's a once a year event. So the rest of the time, we're there as an insurance policy, but the rest of the time is opportunity to provide value. Opportunity when you don't need us, for us to point you other places where there is additional value that we've been able to broker on your behalf. So essentially what the rewards program is that it offers our members either discounts or rewards or unique experiences as part of their membership. And in exchange for that, what we offer partners is marketing opportunities. There's no cost for this. So unlike in air miles or whatever, where you're having to pay for that, this is really, the cost is what you may be willing to offer AMA members in terms of a valuable experience or a valuable discount. If you had a tap room, for example, maybe it's a free appetizer, or if you if you're doing delivery right now, maybe it's a free delivery. Most of our partners, the reality is that the cost is quite small volume. They would find other ways, other promotions that they would use about the same value for. It's just that as a result of that, we can get that message out and increase your exposure and brand awareness, ideally with increasing your share of market, and if not your share of market, your share of wallet. So the rewards program currently has about 300 rewards partners, and they're all over the map. So we've got all kinds of categories, everything from energy efficiency discounts with utility providers to paint discounts, etc. If you've ever used any of the discounts, some of them very quickly by themselves cover the cost of membership. For example, we have a deal with a grocery partner, and if you just purchased your groceries using the cards that we sell, you would earn 500 rewards dollars, which is the equivalent of cash to spend at AMA over the course of the year. So you could quickly pay off your membership, or get a nice chunk of change on your insurance policy, etc. So all we're trying to do there is create sustained value for our members while also offering Alberta businesses some kind of exposure in exchange for something of value to the members. So as I said, the cost there is something of value to the members, and the value you get back is marketing through all of our channels. As you probably know, we are a fully integrated advertising marketing team. So when we say exposure through our marketing channels, we partner with the reward partners on tons of things. Everything from participation at events that we do when we can do events, to content through videos, through storytelling, through the magazine, through social channels, through traditional print advertising, all myriad of things. So that was the first opportunity that I wanted to present that may be of interest. The second is more around content and exposure. So the area that I oversee right now invests all of its energy in creating content and in creating experiences for our members, with the real belief that that is a super effective way to connect on from a values level and from an emotional level with potential customers. I talked a little bit about the backyard barbecue. That is just one of the ways that we create content. We are on an endless quest for interesting things to do with content. We are going to be holding an actual live beer and beer pairing event, beer tasting event in February. because we're finding, again, not that there's no end in sight, but we're still stuck at home. And so we're really looking for opportunities to create value for members and value for partners. So we've got those kinds of opportunities. We've looked at, things like building community gardens and mobilizing community that way. We are completely open to all kinds of interesting ideas that gets valuable content into the eyes and ears of our members. This kind of partnership, again, no cost. It is a matter of time and effort. So on the Backyard Barbecue, for example, you can join as your brewery under your brewery title, and we'll accept you. You do have to sort of register, I guess. We let you in just like we did into this call. And really the rules are just that we don't do any direct overt marketing. But if you want to talk about what's unique about your brewery or things that you need to know when you're tasting beers, or the difference between a blonde and a dark, and you want to use that channel, there's 4,500 members in that community who are very active in that environment, learning new things, asking questions, trying things out. It's not that marketing is not allowed. You can certainly say, if you're interested in more, we've got our location here, or you can buy us there, etc. It's really just focused on embedding the marketing message into valuable content. So that's something that's open to anybody at any time. The real cost is just that you need to create some content, but the value is the exposure. And I will say, when we set up the Backyard Barbecue, we'd originally intended to take it down in August, September kind of timeframe. And we sort of took our foot off the gas a little bit in terms of the content that we were adding to the community. It is alive and thriving. I don't know why I ever for 1 second doubted that hardy Albertans would take their foot off the gas when it comes to barbecuing all winter long. They are on there, they're highly engaged, they talk to one another, they've actually formed a community of people interested in great food and excellent libations, because there's lots of pictures of libations also in that environment. The last piece I would talk about is social responsibility. So this is obviously really important to us. It's something that we would love to be able to pilot with somebody. As I said earlier, we came to the realization that we should never be an organization that tells people what, to stop doing things, except things that aren't in the interest of public safety. So we love the idea of possibly partnering, running a pilot with a brewery or a couple of breweries to get the message about consuming responsibly out there. So I go back to that cohort that cares about ethical and social issues. And rather than have, AMA out there just saying, don't drink and drive, or, consume responsibly in a vacuum, if we're actually going to make connections with people, we have to deliver them that message where they live. And where they live is with your product, whether that is in a bar when we can open those things, or at home, or out with friends, again, when we can do that. And so I'm really intrigued by the possibility of some kind of partnership or co-branding opportunity where we can actually say, you know what, you're going to love this beverage, just don't get in your car after you've had it. So something interesting there. Again, cost here, we know that there would be variables. I don't know enough about your businesses to know what packaging costs are or how often you change design. I would be welcome to a conversation around that if anybody was interested. I think it would serve both of us well. It shows that you care about social causes and that we care about Alberta businesses. So I think it's just a lovely space that might be worth exploring. So those are the three opportunities that I wanted to share with you, as well as a little bit about us. At the risk of sounding completely redundant, again, I really sort of look at the world now of exposure and marketing and think we get further together. It's an interesting idea, partnering a roadside service company with brewers, but I really think that the impact of the messaging is raised working together, and that the value of social responsibility is also elevated through unique partnerships. So that was pretty much what I wanted to share with you. Again, thank you very much for attending. I was happy for even a small group. If you have any interest, or you think you'd have any interest, or you have any questions that you don't want to ask me now, I would love to continue the conversation. Or we have regular conversations with Blair and Danielle. So if you've got questions you want to funnel up through them, or are interested in opportunities, we'd really welcome the opportunity to connect with you. So can I answer any questions at this point?
Hi, Jane. I'm Christina from the Grizzly Paw.
Hi.
Hi. So I'm a personal AMA member, but I know the Grizzly Paw, we have 5 or 6 vehicles. So we're looking to become like a more business partner.
Okay.
So any information you have on that would be awesome. And then I would love to chat more about the backyard barbecue stuff.
Okay.
We're currently doing beer and cheese virtually on our own and having a great turnout through Zoom. So it'd be nice to work with someone else and just kind of switch it up a bit.
That's awesome. So my email is on that slide. If you just want to even just send me your contact information, I'll circle back with you on both of those things. One area that we are building an entire portfolio out around, which it's just the very edge of what you were talking about in terms of the vehicles, but just we can continue the conversation on that front too, is around a whole small business suite of services, because we obviously do all kinds of things in terms of, you know, insuring fleet, training fleet, registering fleet, roadside assistance, etc. So there's a whole bunch of stuff there I'd be happy to talk to you about, and we always welcome participation in the backyard barbecue.
Awesome. The slide was just taken down.
Oh, yeah, that's me.
And
I learned how to put it up, and yeah, it is Jane, no Y, Jane .flower, the one that grows at ama.ab.ca.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Any other questions I can answer?
I think the only question I had was if we wanted to look exploring the rewards program further, just contact you directly.
Absolutely. And I will connect you directly with our rewards team who'd be happy to have that conversation.
Okay, great.
Yeah, awesome. So I think a copy of this is going to be recorded so that we could share it out. So if you share it or watch it back or have any other questions, I'm happy to field them at any time.
Actually, the last question I wanted to ask is if it would be possible to share your power or your deck with us, just so that if we wanted to show that off to anyone else in our business, we could do so. That'd be great.
Yep, I will send that through to Danielle, and then we can share it out.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. I just wanted to note, I'm Bethany, I'm with AMA as well, that I put the link to the backyard barbecue in the chat for this as well. So if either of you are interested in checking that out or joining, you can just click through there.
Yeah, and just a reminder, no obligation. If you join and think it doesn't work for us as a brewer, you might just enjoy hanging out there. There's some pretty awesome stuff going on in that community.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. It was a great presentation. And yeah, like Jane said, it will be up on our YouTube channel, and we'll post it out. So if you need to rewatch it, or we'll share the slideshow with you guys. And yeah, if you have any further questions, we'll get you in touch with Jane. And thanks so much for joining today.
Thank you. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks so much. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.